1755, Lisbon, Portugal, which is located in Eastern Europe, was a epicenter of trade and a prospering port city in Europe. Lisbon is also a primarily Catholic community, and the devastating earthquake struck on November 1st on All Saints' Day. On All Saints' Day, a lot of people go and gather in churches and light candles for their saints to celebrate.
The earthquake was caused when a continental plate met with an oceanic plate. These two plates collided and then made a subduction zone as the denser oceanic plate slipped below the continental plate. This resulted in a magnitude 9 earthquake, which is one of the most deadly ones that has ever been seen in modern history. One of the reasons this earthquake was so damaging to the people of Lisbon was because many of them were gathered in worship for All Saints' Day. And this worship involves the lighting of a lot of candles, and then there were also in large churches and cathedrals that were hit heavily with this earthquake. They were so large and primarily built out of stone that when this earthquake hit, a lot of them collapsed, crushing a lot of people as well as spilling the candles onto the floor, which resulted in large fires that spread across the city. The people that were worshiping when the earthquake hit at 9:40 a.m. were forced to flee from this earthquake, flee from the damage and destruction that was caused in the inner city, as well as the fire that was pushing them out. So they were forced to run out of the city towards the coast to escape all of this. And as this was happening, a tsunami was forming after trillions of gallons of water were displaced by this earthquake and were rushing towards the coast. They didn't know this was coming, and as they sought shelter on the coast, 40 minutes after the earthquake, the tsunami ended up hitting. The tsunami washed over much of the city, but wasn't enough to put the fire out. So when the waters receded, the fire came back in and burned down most of the city. About 85% of the buildings were destroyed, and many lives were lost. This is the video of the tsunami that occurred. It ended up affecting almost all of the land that's touching or around the Pacific Ocean. Many people in northern Africa were killed. About 10,000 fatalities occurred in Morocco.
After the earthquake, the people of Lisbon rallied together to build their city back to the beautiful, prospering city it once was. That was with one idea in mind: to prevent this devastation of this earthquake from ever happening again. In order to do this, the people of Lisbon made sure that their new buildings and cathedrals could withstand even one of the strongest earthquakes in the world, which is one that happened in 1755. So although Lisbon has been able to prosper and rebuild ever since the earthquake, the people will never forget the devastating effects that happened in 1755.